You were giving me
Oh,
ideas.
This is my office.
I love it. I like the shush.
Oh yeah,
What?
that's because we can talk about
it.
that with my mate. We can talk about why that light exists.
Because babe, I have a new honeydew for you. I want a new background. Shh. Welcome back to another episode of the Get Up Girl. Your gal Joanna Vargas is here with Lesley Logan, one of my gals and one of the Get Up Girls all-time faves. She's been on the show like countless times, and I really like that. I feel like it's like The View, and we're bringing back our usuals. And I'm having fun with that, Lesley. So you're one of the usuals. You're one of the ones that I like to have conversations with. And I'm like, this is my podcast and let's do it. Right. Rather than trying to find somebody new every week.
You know what? I hear you because you were my first episode of my podcast. People still quote you. And I'm like, so why do I have other people? Maybe I should just have her back.
Lesley, I am so there. I am so there. If you're not familiar with Lesley Logan, she is a master Pilates instructor and creator with her husband. Well, she created it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they've created it together, onlinepilatesclasses.com. They also coach other Pilates owners, creators, fitness owners, how to then build their business. And I've talked to her agency as well. Let me tell you, everybody, if you're listening, watching, their business is phenomenal. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because Lesley, here's the thing. Your gifts are magical. Like her gifts, everybody, are Pilates and connecting with the individual on the other side of the computer and teaching them about their bodies. And Brad, your husband's gifts are the other side of the business, right? And sometimes as entrepreneurs, many times as human beings in this reality, we want to do everything. Such a cliche. We've heard that a million times. And yet we still want to wear all the hats. And I've noticed, right? Yeah. What I've seen, Lesley, is that the magic happened when he came into your business. And I want to talk about that because if somebody's listening that is single and they want to create that, or they're in a relationship and they're kind of like teetering and, they're thinking about what they're going to do next. Let's jump in, Lesley, because I want you to tell us from where it was that you came, because you were not with Brad. Your other guy was not like he is, right? No. So tell us about that. Tell us about that other relationship.
Yeah. So the guy I was with before my husband, he is definitely very successful and supportive. I will say, like, he's the one who encouraged me to write my book. And he's the one who really wanted me to think bigger than just teaching at a studio. However, he wasn't actually able to help me do any of those things. And so I was like, I can't do that because I am the only person who's doing it all. And how do I teach people Pilates, write a book, build a website? Like, it just became, so I really got stuck in my head because I didn't have anyone to really help me. And when you're getting started, sometimes that can be really difficult to, like, people are like, hire a team. It's like, with what money? So I'm not saying that you should go marry someone who should be on your team. But what ended up happening is when I left my ex, I was actually trying to figure out, why do I keep dating the same person? So if you are right. And so what I realized, I kept dating these people who, like, on paper look like they had it all together. But because I didn't have it all together, because, like, who actually does, that was the conflict. And I kept trying to be perfect, which is like a default for me. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Hello. Have you been to those meetings? So I really struggled in those relationships. And I'm like, I'm losing myself in these relationships. And why is that happening? So I actually started doing a lot of, like, studying, and I did Strength Finders 2.0. And I learn what my top 5 strengths are. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all in on these type strengths, and I'm going to partner up with people whose strengths are my weaknesses. And so it didn't mean that, like, I paid them, but I started a blog with a girlfriend who was really organized and had great grammar. And so I would write blogs and she would write blogs and she would do all the editing and posting. And it was so fun. And then when I met Brad on our first date that he didn't know he was on, he had said, have you heard of Strength Finders 2.0? And I was like, what are your top 5? And what it was so cool is we pulled them out, and we had a couple that were similar and then the rest were opposite.
Opposite.
And then he's like, "Do you want to get out of here?" Because that was our Netflix and chill. So I totally hooked up because of Strength Finders 2.0. And so we, because of that entrepreneurial spirit that we both had, our relationship started off with that kind of
Mm.
mindset.
Wow. Okay, Lesley, because you and I kind of the same. I was dating the same guy over and over again. You know, how many guys did I find until my new relationship, my new partnership? And I really got clear, Lesley. I'm like, this is what I want. I want to be a power couple. I really want to be that. Now, a power couple means different to everyone. And to me, what it meant was the opposite. He is going to come in and assist me on the things that I'm weak on. And having somebody on my side that can receive all of me, Lesley.
Yeah.
And anybody listening, this is not just, your significant lover partner. This can be a business partner, a bestie, your neighbor, your roommate. Because, Lesley, this is my awareness. My awareness is that when we commune with other people that are opposite than we are, right?
Yeah.
Similar and opposite, it scares us. And I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
go to what's comfortable. So we're going to go to people that are just like the way we are. And I think
Yeah.
also like how we're divided in the country right now, we can only talk with people that are on my side. And it's like,
Right.
right? And just the other day, Lesley, somebody was saying, "Oh, you want to be friends with those people? They believe in XYZ and you believe it." I'm like, I don't care what somebody believes. I mean, whatever. I'm so open. I want everybody on all sides to come in and make this beautiful rainbow with me. And I think that's the biggest thing that we get into partnerships, work, life that are just like we
Well,
are.
and they just ended up in those groups because somebody felt like they were like them and invited them in. And like, if we're not inviting people around and with us, like, we're not going to be able to create together. And I agree. Your mate can be someone you're married to. It also can be just a best friend or a business partner. And I think it's you should pick people who have some things, some skill sets that are your weaknesses. So where they thrive, you're like, you do that.
Mhm.
And that's just it. Like when we started dating, like to impress me, he built me a new website. And I was like, that's amazing. Thank you so
Netflix and
much.
chill times two all day, baby. That turns me on. I
Yeah.
know. Like I made an Excel sheet for me the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, that turns me on because that's you and I are similar. We're the creative types. We don't do Excel. We don't like, we'll
Oh
do
yeah.
it, but like, it's not our best.
Yeah.
Well,
But you know what's really cool is, Joanna, you knew Brad and I when he was still running his companies and I was running my company.
I saw the change. Go ahead.
Yeah. In like not even a long period of time. It was like very short. So when we were in that mastermind together, I really brought him in there hoping that he could learn what I was learning and help me implement it. And then if not, at least his businesses would go really well. And then I would have money to like hire some people like him. But what's really cool is his coach and that his accountability coach in that group, um, that guy's wife was a fitness instructor who had this like multi-million-dollar company, and he built the websites and did the Excel sheets and did all the behind the scenes. And he was like, would you like it if Brad did these things? I said, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't be the one that asked him that. And I think that's also really important when you're starting to work with someone. Like, you do want to make sure that they do want to do those things, especially if they're going to change their life for that. But then we actually had a call with that guy and Brad and I on it, and we talked about it because all the goals Brad had, he wanted to travel, he wanted to work from anywhere, he wanted to see the world, he wanted to have freedom to work when he wanted to work, he wanted to have scalable companies. I was doing that already. And the guy was like, she's already doing it. Do you want to do with her?
True power couple. You know what I was just thinking about, Lesley, while you were talking is it can also look different. It doesn't have to be where your mate or your friend is building your website and doing the other things. Like, what if they can help you by throwing out the trash for you or by, helping to clean the house or by taking the kids somewhere so that you can work, but that creationship together. And I realize that when you're in a relationship with somebody, husband, wife, or friend, it means to relate. And when you relate, Lesley, it means like, okay, now you do something, Now I do something. Now you do something. You go back and forth. That's how you relate to each other. So that's a relationship. And what if it's a creationship? You create together. And not necessarily a business, but just creating life, creating your home, creating your visions, creating your dreams.
Yeah.
And wow, when you have a creationship with your partner, work partner, friend, it's so different than a relationship. Because I've had relationships, and relationships are you do something. Okay, now what do I get? Now I do something. Now
Yeah.
what do you get? It's such a give and take.
And well, that never works. And I think it was actually on The View, speaking of The View, where
Really?
it was Sunny who said, because somebody said, like, from The Bachelor, like, oh, it should be 50-50, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, relationships are 90-10. And the important thing is that it's the 90 flips back and forth.
Amen.
But like, there are going to be seasons where you're more in it for the other person than they are going to be able to give to you. And then ideally it switches back. But I think, like, I love that you call it creationship. It's like, one of the things that I try to do is make sure that, because I know Brad loves to cook, but if he's busy working on something, then he can't cook. So I will, like, notice that, and I'll say, hey, do you want me to walk the dogs or do this so that you can do the thing that you want to do? Because I know it'll make them a happier person. I think it's like just really figuring out what makes other people happy and also what makes them feel loved. And then, even though that is not exactly how I feel loved, like acts of service, just like, as you know, I was like, oh, why is he doing things for me? But I'm like, pet me and tell me I'm pretty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm golden, right? Touch and affirmations. But when you do that for the other person, it really does allow you to create together, and it allows the communication's just really there. And so you're not like, oh, well, I'm just gonna wait because he hasn't taken out the trash, so I'm not gonna do my thing. It's like, no, you can't. It's not gonna work if you're kept keeping score. And it's not that, like, my husband and I are absolutely perfect. Like, we get frustrated at each other. We work together.
Yeah.
But it's just that, like, you just have to understand who is in charge of what. And like, this is really hard. And I don't know if you're able to do this, Joanna, in your new relationship, but it's like, I like letting go of control over those things that they're in charge of. It's like, however, like, I may not have done the backyard exactly in the order he did it, but that's how his mind works. And so,
Yeah.
and the backyard is done. So the result I wanted happened. It just didn't happen the way I wanted. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yes, I am the queen of a recovering control freak right here. Yeah, totally. I was at that meeting every week. I really like the 50-50 though, because if you're at a 10, Lesley, and then you're trying to do the 50, that's when you get exhausted. You're like, right now I'm at a 10. Babe, I need you to massage my feet because I'm at a 10. I can't, this is the most I can give right now. I need you to take the wheel, so to speak. Okay, now I would love to gift to you. But it's that really gifting and receiving. I really learned that this year in 2021, as opposed to give and take. Because a give and take is when I give something to you, Lesley. Now I'm waiting for my turn.
Yeah.
And if I just give you something, I gift you, excuse me, gift,
Yeah.
that's a true gift. And then when you can receive it without thinking, okay, now I have to give you something back.
Yeah.
And what a difference in a relationship like that. It's just beautiful. I do want to ask you though, because this is in my world lately, about fighting, about getting annoyed with your
Mhm.
friends, your mates, anybody. How do you fight? How do you personally fight? And how do you and Brad recover from them?
This is a really cool conversation, because I remember when I just got married, this girl asked me, she's like, do you and Brad fight? And I said, well, we don't yell and scream at each other. Granted, we've been married a year. But like, I hope that's not how we disagree. And
Yeah.
the other woman was like, well, I didn't fight with my ex-husband either, and that didn't work out well. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'm saying that I won't fight, and I'm not saying that I don't fight. It's just that, like, we do disagree on things. And I think we only one time in my memory did we like raise our voices and like walk away from each other in such frustration. Now, on that time, we were both needing the other person to be at a 10 so we could be at the 90, and we were both like stressed out. So it's just like like, it happens, right?
Yeah.
But what we don't do, like, I was just like, well, we're not going to bed angry. We're going to talk this out. And like, you have to allow the other person to really like say what they're feeling, and then also know that half the things they're saying are actually the thing.
Mhm.
Whatever they're actually able to identify is just that. But underneath all that is fear. Usually it's just fear. And so when you can just let the other person say what they need to say and not take it personally, and then just say, okay, so what, like, I think we're just really scared that this isn't going to work out, like not us, a relationship or whatever the thing we were upset about. And we were able to just like take a moment and take some time with that. And I think that's really good. But generally, we just, one person gets a little bit like, this isn't working out the way I wanted it to. Why isn't it happening like this? And the other person explains, this is what I thought you meant. Here's what we're going to do. And it's like, okay, fine. And as long as, to me, you learn from that, then it's not really like, also what we don't do is bring up, well, you did this. And like a year ago, you did this. And remember last time you did this, like, the other day he didn't follow up with something that he was supposed to do. And I got really upset. I'm like, I can't babysit you. I can't keep checking. Did you follow up on this? Did you follow up on this? And then follow up this? And he's like, you shouldn't have to. And I said, okay, great. So can you fix this? And then tell me how it's going to be prevented in the future. And then it's like, then he can come up with his own game plan. And he's like, okay, in the future, I'm just going to delegate it out to this person. I said, okay, great. We're moved on, lesson learned. So I think it's like, it's okay to get angry and upset at the other person. It's not okay to stay that way. And also like, I think recognizing what the fear inside of you that's making you angry at them. So usually my fear is like, we're disappointing people. And so then I get frustrated when we do that. And his fear, right, is that he's going to fuck things up. And he doesn't want to be the person, because he knows I'm the face of the brand. Yeah. So I think it's just like, you got to know what it is. You have to say what's bothering you. Communicate. They cannot read minds. I can't read his mind. And then also just like, okay, then what are we going to do in the future? And then you just learn from it. It's like if you make a wrong turn, like, oh, you're like, oh, that was a one-way street. Okay, next time I won't turn on that street,
Yes, you touch the hot stove. Next time you're not going to touch that hot stove.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized when from all my relationships, one of the most important things for me, Lesley, is the aftermath of an argument, of a disagreement. Like, how do we fight and how do we shift after it is very important to me. And in this new creationship that I'm in, it's like we move through it fast. And it does not feel good, but we move through it fast. Where other relationships, we were playing and dancing this like little fake thing, and resentment build up and resentment build up and like you said, and then you bring up what happened last year. It's like, whoa, I felt like I was, it was more immature, so to speak. And I was right there in there playing. I was the queen of it. I was playing these games and I didn't see it until I had the contrast to see, wow, this is so adult, I'm going to say, where we move through it. It sucks. I think we got a comment here. Oh, hey, girl. Eileen's watching. But okay, so fun little story, Lesley. I had an event on Sunday. My guy packed the truck. It was this big truck, all the stuff. And I'm driving the truck. He's driving his car. His is like a, 4-door. So I'm driving down the street and I didn't know, Lesley, but there's stuff falling out of the truck behind me in the street.
No. Yeah, okay. No. Oh my God, no.
This guy is like honking and I'm on the street, la, la, la. The event just finished. I'm all happy. And he's like, roll down your window, old school, roll down your window. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, stuff is falling out of your truck. And I'm like, my eyes got this big, Lesley. I'm like, OMG, I'm on a big street. What the hell am I going to do? So I pull to the side and I see that the truck, the way that it was packed was like not the best, right? And I'm like, I don't know what fell out. It's dark. I blow up on my guy. I just blow up. And when I'm driving home, I went into question. So Lesley and I are always talking about questions. Yeah. And the question I asked myself is, what is this, Joanna? What is it really? What information is here? Are you mad at him? Are you mad that it fell out? Like, what are you really mad at?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is required, Joanna, for you to move through it quickly? So what I realized is what was required was for him to say, you know what? I didn't pack it that great. Next time I'll shift it, because I had already dropped something, Lesley, earlier that day. I didn't mention that. So I'm like, right. It was like, what did you say, that you drove down the wrong side of the street one way and you still drove down the same street again? And so that was frustrating me. So as soon as, I apologized, I said, I'm really sorry that I yelled at you. And then he said, I'm really sorry I packed the truck not so great. Done. Because
Yeah.
he gifted me exactly what I just wanted to know. I did not pack it that great. But I was aware, Lesley. Now in the
Yeah.
past, I probably wouldn't have been aware, and I just wanted to just fight just because I wanted to prove that I'm right.
Well, and that's usually it. It's like, I think, is it Lori Harder and Chris who say, "Do we want to be right or do we want to like
Feel
like
good or whatever.
be together, whatever?" And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't necessarily need to be right. I just need to know that it's not going to happen again so that I can trust that, right? Like that's all. And
It.
also like, so what? I get to walk around my house and go, I'm the best. Like that's not going to feel good either. So I don't know. I also, when I was with my ex, one of like the like warning, this is the wrong person for you, is that I read the book Getting the Love You Want.
Yeah.
And it talks about really understanding like how the other person's holes get filled up from their childhood, how they feel loved and what their fears are, and that
Mhm.
those things about them, then you love them that way, and that calms a lot of things down, and then vice versa. And I think like whether it's your partner that you're dating in love with or someone you're going to be in business with, you do need to know what their fears are, like what their
Mhm.
worst case scenario is, what does trigger them. And that is because they need to know that for you as well. And then when these things happen, you're not kind of like, oh gosh, like why did you do this to me? It's like you actually know, like blowing up at them is actually the worst thing you can do. It can actually make them shut down. And, because my husband knows who my ex was, I know about his ex. We both know how each other was raised.
Mhm.
And like I was raised in a household that screams and yells, and I hated it. And nothing can make me shut down more than someone yelling at me. And then his household just never talked about anything. So it's like we had to like learn about that. And like I think it's just also we're practicing like it's okay to be imperfect and make mistakes. You just have to learn from them. And that's it's not easy. It's not fun. Like it's not fun to be frustrated at your business partner on the way to a dinner date. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
and now we're gonna show up as a loving relationship, but I'm really frustrated. So I love that you said move through it fast because it's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you waste time, you waste days, and like you're not gonna be okay. You're not gonna be okay if like something bad happens to them and you're still in the middle of an argument.
Oh, Lesley, that's so good. That just happened to me. I had a meeting before with with a girl that works with me. And what I was aware of, I'm like, I want to communicate with her that this is what will help me. And how can I help you in this? Because we were like, we're saying the same thing, but different. And we're just not getting
Yeah.
there. Right. And I'm like, okay, what is required for me? And it's exactly what you said, Lesley. I just need to know it's not going to happen again. It's all good. You're not wrong for doing this. It's fine. I really don't care. And I was aware that she was receiving it like, oh, I messed up. I'm like, I don't care about that. And so it's like you said, filling those holes. I'm like, okay, how can I communicate so that she can receive it in the holes that you're talking about? That's
Yeah.
how I'm kind of getting it right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask her. So it's like putting her in the position of power so she can help me. This is how you can help
Oh,
me.
that is great, whether it's with a person you're with, a person you work with, a person who works for you, like asking them, okay, so I've explained this to you this way. It's not working out the way I was anticipating. So what would actually help? How can I help you make this happen? Do you need
Yeah.
more time learning it? Do you need more
Yeah.
time training it? We did this with my assistant because she was talking about how much time something was taking. We're like, show us how you do it.
Mhm.
And how much time would you like it to take or do you need it to take? And then we came up with, we troubleshoot it. So it's just, but I think people are like, they're afraid to ask that because they're
Yeah.
afraid that maybe they trained them wrong or maybe they didn't communicate it incorrectly. But like, it's this sign that you like, that came up because my husband and I, for the first time, share an office. Back
Okay.
before COVID, I had a Pilates studio and he worked from home. And now we're in a office room together, which someday when we get to build my Pilates studio in the backyard, I will have my own office and it will be all of this like all over four walls.
Yeah.
But the reality is we share one and he would just turn on his swivel chair to talk to me. But I got to write captions. I got to write newsletters. I got to write copy. I'm in creation mode. I am like, and like no amount of headphones, like nothing worked. Right. So I just got the light and I turn it on when I don't want to be interrupted. So when he looks and he sees a pink light over me, he knows no. Because there's no amount. And the same thing goes, of course, I did the same thing to him because we're excited, right? Everyone does. It's like, oh, and he's right there. If he's got the cans on, I gotta either text or I gotta not interrupt the train of thought.
If you could just hear me now, but if you can't see me, I'm like waving my hand. So, that's happened with me a million times, especially my new boyfriend. And I'm in the middle of a text, I'm in the middle of writing something, and he will straight up left field ask me, so what are we going to wear for Halloween? And I look at him and I said, pause. I'm not there right now. And you see his face, and then I finish my thing. And then I look at him and then I apologize. I'm like, sweetheart, I'm sorry I came off rude because, again, that's not his love language. And then he feels okay. And I'm like, in the future, if you ever see me in thought mode, do not ask me a question. First, get my attention first. Then, hey, do you have a minute? Yeah. But explaining that. Now, in the past, Lesley, I used to always answer the question. Always, because I was taught, be polite, don't do this, be a good girl, etc., etc. But now I could tell, like, he gets a little like, that was rude. It might be rude, but it's also rude in my eyes that I'm in the middle of something and you just stopped me. So it's playing that dance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like you learn as you go. Like you just have to learn, and it's just the more you can actually just say what you're feeling. And
Yeah.
like that is hard because it's scary. Because also I don't want anyone to think that they're the one that's making me feel that way. It's just that I'm feeling that way. And so as you grow up an adult, I think it's really important that just because he's feeling anxious around something doesn't mean I made him anxious or that I need to fix something. And I think in any partnership, I think a lot of guys get blamed like, oh, they just want to fix things. I think women want to fix things too. When you
Yeah.
see your partner's upset, you're like, how do I fix that? I don't like that. But it's like, actually, it's just like, okay to let them feel their feelings and then just say, okay, so how can we make this different in the future? And or just like, do you need, and also just saying, do you need me to listen or do you need me to like come up with solutions? And so that's what we do a lot of, where I say, I'm going to just vent right now. I just need to bitch about it.
Yeah.
And then you move on. I'm in this training right now, and there's this whole thing about pain versus suffering. And I didn't realize that my husband and I do this really well. We're working on and doing it really well. But the whole idea is that like, pain is what you're feeling in the moment. Suffering is the story you put around it, identify with it, and sit in it. And you're like, I'm feeling this way because of this, and because of this, and because of this. And then you just keep telling all your friends, so this happened to me, and this is how I feel. It's like pain is just like letting the feelings come through and feeling them, feeling frustrated, feeling this. And this happened to us last Thursday. There was something in our business that was supposed to happen that'd be really great, and it didn't happen. And on top of that, something else didn't go well. And I'm in the middle of Mandalay Bay Casino on our way to a dinner date, and I just started crying. It was really frustrated. And like, of course, no one wants to see someone cry in the middle of a casino. But I said, just let me fucking cry for just a second. And I cried, and I was like, okay, we can go to that date now. I'm good. I'm not great, but I can get through this evening.
Lesley, I love you. I am the queen of like, yeah, just give me a good a little tantrum, a little whatever, however it's gonna look. Okay, I'm good. Now I'm not A plus, but I'm better than I was. Yeah, because if
and better than stuffing it down, and better than replaying it all in your head. Like, so we're really big on that right now, and I've been working on that with him. Like, like he'll want to try to figure it all out. I'm like, it's okay just to be pissed off. Like, that's okay. We don't have to know why right now.
Yes. My word for 2021 is and.
Oh, and
I'm a bitch and I'm nice. And right now I'm choosing bitch. I'm choosing it. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And then like later I'll go, babe, I'm sorry I was such a bitch. And we laugh. Boom, done. Because I was a bitch for that 5 minutes. I was not kind.
Well, and also, but like if you just call it out and say, I was a bitch right there. So sorry. It's also okay if you're a bitch a week later. Yeah. Like, it's just that if you deny, I wasn't being bitchy right there.
Yeah. I'm never,
You
don't
took
call
it
me
the
that
wrong
word.
way.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
always
Oh
a
my
cost
God.
efficient.
Okay. Wait, Lesley, last question, because I do want to wrap it up with this. For somebody that is like looking for that business partner or looking for that mate to help them, a creationship, you stated that you were reading that book. I forgot the title that you said, but
Strength Finders 2.0
oh, and then
is
the other
really
one,
great.
the
Oh,
relationship
that
one.
one is Getting
Fine.
the Love You Want. That's a supposedly you're supposed to read that with like your mate.
Oh,
Um, the guy was on Oprah, like a decade or so, like decades ago, maybe
right.
only a decade ago. But if you go through Oprah's Super Soul podcast, you'll find the author and on an episode, and you can hear about his workshops that he does. He like
Okay.
takes couples
Mm.
and they actually talk to their partner as if they're their parent, and they yell at them and they scream at them and they get everything out from that 7-year-old person. And then the
Mm.
same, and then they actually hopefully learn, oh, wow, when I don't wear my wedding ring, it makes her feel like I'm going to run away because her dad ran away. Right. Like
Mm.
that. It's these stupid things that are, it's not stupid, but it's like those little things. He's not thinking that, he's just thinking I'm a welder and I don't want my ring, you know?
Yeah.
So that's Getting the Love You Want. Definitely listen to the Oprah podcast with him, and just like test out the waters. But I read that on my own. My ex did not. Obviously, red flag right there. And but if you're wanting to look for a partner of any kind, as far as like working together, creating together, what I highly recommend is like just really getting to know yourself. And there's so many different tests out there. I just did Sparked. There's DISC. I really like Strength Finders 2.0 because it's actually like incredible what they've studied CEOs like from everywhere, and they came up with these 34 qualities make like, and make up CEOs. And it doesn't actually determine if you're the most successful based on which ones are in your top 5. But if you know what your top 5 are and you know what your bottom 5 are, you now know who you need to hire below you. You got to hire these people to be with you, to like check you, right? And so I also, if you this guy's name is Jason Frizzell. If you do Strength Finders 2.0, he will actually go through your results with you. He's super cool. If anyone needs his information, let me know. But he's really awesome. He's going with Brad and mine together because I told him what my top 5 are, and 3 of my top 5, including my number 1 strength, are the most rare that anyone has.
Wow.
And he's like, you're a unicorn. I was like, well, I knew that already. So, but do that, because when you do that, then you partner up with someone in business or in life who has similar but different. And that's going to really it's going to challenge you in some ways. My husband challenges me in a lot of ways, but I challenge him too, because I'm like, I'm a visionary. I'm like, we're just going to go with it. Don't worry about how we're going to get there. And, so anyways, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Strength Finders 2.0 did that. I mean, it's a long quiz. You're answering it, but really, really helpful.
It's like on point though. It is long, but like I actually find it to be more on point than some of the other ones I've done that are like, I'm like, yeah, I can see that, but it's like a horoscope. It's like, yeah, that works.
That could be kind of anybody. Yeah. But to find that unicorn of you, that's really, really cool. Wow. Thank you, Lesley, so much. I always enjoy talking to you, and congratulations to everything. I mean, gosh, your business is just doing so well. Your new cards as well. You're going to have Cadillac cards for the Pilates.
Yeah. So
OMG. Freaking amazing. She has Matt Pilates.
So these are what's out right now.
Yep. The reformer and Matt. Yep.
Yeah. This is like, everyone needs this in their stockings. And then we're doing the Cadillac in the spring. And y'all, this is like, you're a dance coach, dance teacher. Like, it's like creating manuals, but like on cards.
Yeah. So it's a lot of meticulous work. And the photos are gorgeous. I just saw the video of the reel of you.
You need to work with if you because you dance so much. He's a dance photographer and he's in Pasadena.
What? Okay, we'll have to talk.
Yeah, we have to talk. And also we'll have to have you back. Maybe we'll have you back for like my 100th episode or something like that. Wouldn't that be so fun?
You just had like 50, right? You're halfway there.
I just had 50. We're halfway there. So yeah, we'll have to plan that. I love you so much.
Well, we'll have everything, your podcast, your cards, everything in the show notes. Also, the Strength Finders book, and then Finding the Love You Want. We're going to have that in there so everybody can check it out. So
I think it's called Getting the Love You Want. But yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's by a therapist.
Okay, we will put that too. I think that'd be great for even for my partner and I to listen to. That'd be really cool. Congratulations, Lesley. Send our love to Brad. And reminder, Lesley's going to be talking with us at SLEIGH GALS Saturday, December 4th at 11
That's so
a.m.
soon.
Pacific. Yeah, it's so soon. It's like in a week. So if you're listening to this in real time, and we're going to go 1 hour live, and it's going to be the best red table talk you've ever heard with like the coolest chicks. Four of my, I think, like the really strongest business women that I have in my life. It's been really curated so that we can have a true conscious conversation with all five of us. And so please sign up for
It's
that.
our
That'll
own
be in the
view.
show notes. Yeah, it's our own view. It's our
Yeah.
point of
Oh my
view.
God. Sign up for that. And I'll have to get the link to spread the word because this is going to be, it's going to be so fun. Also, because I don't know who the other guests are. I guess I could look that up, but I learned so much. I'm so inspired. The last time we did a round table, I
Right?
was like
It was freaking
vibrating.
amazing. I was vibrating too. And you have like 1 million followers. I mean, your people that follow you are hardcore. Do they have a name for you? Like Leslie Leslie
They'll
Junkies or something. Like they need to
Oh,
be
they we'll have to come up with a little like, like Emily Abadi calls hers hurdlers. We'll have to
oh,
come
okay.
up with like
Yeah. You
something,
need
but
like
yeah, we'll work on that. We'll name our
100s
crew.
or something.
Yeah, 100s.
Oh,
At any rate, they are diehards, and I'm not
they
kidding
are.
when I say, y'all, inside of my coaching group, they'll all say something, and they're like, "How does it get any better than that?"
OMG. Leslie, that was my favorite moment of the freaking day. Okay. Do they like chat? How does it get better than that? Oh, and are their lives even getting better? I know they
Oh,
are. I
and
know
they'll
they are.
see, and they'll hear someone else's win, and they're like quoting Joanna Vargas. How does it get
How does
better
it get
than
better?
this?
OMG. It's freaking amazing.
It's
Like that was the
amazing.
best. Oh, and
Yeah.
Andrea just said hi from our mastermind. Dupuy. Forget how to say her last.
Oh, she
Joanna
and I are
Dupuy.
in a breath work together. Hi, Andrea. We're doing a breath work training together. How crazy is that?
With who? With trainer?
Samantha Skelly.
Oh my God, Skelly. Freaking amazing. I want to do that training. So are you
Oh,
doing the
girl.
training to be a certified breathwork? Oh, Leslie. What? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
well, because I want my retreats, everyone, when the borders
yeah.
open in Cambodia, I want my retreats to be it till you see it retreats. I want you to come. We do Pilates, and then I do habits and goals routine training because I'm certified in that with BJ Fogg, who was the one who trained the Instagram founders.
Wow.
And then he also trained James Clear. So if you're like Atomic Habits all the way, it's like
James
actually
Clear.
he studied with BJ Fogg, and so did I. So I'm up there with all these amazing peeps. And then I want to do breath work because the reality is that like we have to work from inside out. We have to. And so so I'm really a big fan. And so the retreats will have breath work and goals and habits, but with Pilates. And so it's all about like being it till you see it. And I'm so excited. But yes, I hands down you got to do Samantha's training. I think
Oh,
they're signing up for the next round,
really? Because I've
Yeah.
been wanting to do it. I just got the goosebumps, so I know that's my body saying, "How does it
Yeah.
get
Oh my
better?"
God. You got to do it, babe. You got to do it. Worth every penny. So
Thank you, Leslie. Everybody follow Leslie on Instagram. It'll be right here in the show notes. Love you, Leslie, and we'll see you next time. Everybody sign up
I
for
love you.
SLEIGH
Happy
GALS.
Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful for you.
I'm so grateful for you.